What's going on, y'all? Today I'm going to be breaking down how to make crazy ambient style beats for Gunna that would fit right on DS4EVER. And yeah, I mean, this beat turned out really fire, so if y'all like enjoy this kind of stuff, just let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So for the loop, really, the first thing I did was I just grabbed like this one-shot bell from a Nico Baron one-shot kit, and I just started laying down like a simple melody. And really, the key to these melodies is not to overcomplicate it because really it's just a simple bass line for the rest of your melody, and it just serves as a body. So I just made like a simple descending pattern starting at, this is in I believe C sharp minor, and I just go down the scale and then go have these like high notes kind of repeating throughout. And then what I just did is I took this whole melody, I pitched it down 5, or not the top part, but this bass part, just slightly tweak the notes. But yeah, really simple, and it sounds really good as like a kind of a bass layer for the entire beat. But the effects on that were kind of strong, and they're what really made the sound like how it did. I'll go break down the effects real quick. So this is what it sounds like without any effects. Really bad. So I just added like reverb, delay, which is just like a default preset. I just turned the volume down I think a little. Supermassive was kind of important. I don't know what preset I used, but I used a preset, and this is the setting for supermassive. Just a slight tremulator, love filter, an EQ to cut out some annoying frequencies, and then just another EQ. That just makes it sound really wide and ambient. But yeah, after that, I just added this exhaust bell. It's just that same melody over and over again. It's these high notes and then this little run. It's just an A major chord, nothing special. It just sounded cool, and I put on the same effect chain as I did the other thing. After that is when I knew like the direction I wanted to take it, and that's when I added, I think, probably the main melody in the entire beat. It's these strings from Expand 2. There's a staccato up-down strings. Here's what it sounds like alone. But yeah, they're really simple and they kind of slide really nicely, which is why I really like them. And with the rest of the melodies, it sounds... And the effect chain that I put on this, again, I like added tons and tons of effects. This is what it sounds like alone. A little sharp, a little bit too bright, and not enough reverb on it. So again, I just added reverb, delay, some like other reverbs and delays. The main sounds, I think, were the sketch cassette, which I used to kind of like add wow and flutter to the string melody, and that made it sound a little bit more like antique and vintage. And I also added supermassive on this too, which I don't know what preset it is, again, I'm sorry, but it made it sound a little bit more spacious, and I just EQ'd out some of the high end. But yeah, afterwards I've got this melody, or I got the sound in Contact. It's the Dream Runner sound in Ethereal Earth, and this is what it sounds like. But basically what I did was I exported it while tweaking the cutoff. So this is what it sounds like with cutoff up 100%. And then I would bring it down and then bring it back up as the other one came in. And that's what I do a lot of times if I don't want to make automation. If I feel like it's just faster to do something this way, I'll just like record it in Edison while me manually playing with the cutoff to make it sound more humanized. And that's just a pad. It's simple, but it's cool. And with everything else... afterwards, I just added a simple bass from Contact again. It's the Rusty Growl bass. It's just a nice, simple bass. Really simple. No effects. Again, it sounded a little bit too much high end, not enough low end, so I just used an EQ, I think, to boost some of the lows and just get rid of the high end. But yeah. After that, it comes kind of the cool effects part of the melody, I guess. The first like really cool effect I found was this Nico Baron effect, and I just stretched the time Oh, sorry. I stretched it to time and I pitched it to the like notes that I wanted. Sounds like some ghost or something, I don't know, but it really works. And the effects on this are really similar to the effects I had on these. I just added a wider, a 200% to make it sound really wide. And yeah, and I just tweaked the EQ a little bit to cut out a lot of that high end because I didn't like it. And afterwards, I found this fruit run in a flute one-shot kit that I love. I'll link in the description. Brought by Enzo, shout out to him. It's just an absolutely fire kit, especially if you don't have too many flute runs or you don't have those contact banks that have flute runs in them. Finding flute runs from this kit is just, it's a lifesaver, to be honest. And it's just like this little, like that's the main part, and then it just stays consistent and rises, I guess, back into that part. And the effects on this, again, are pretty simple. Reverb, delay, stereo shaper, more delay, and just a few EQs to take out the noises I didn't like. And altogether, this sounds pretty good now. But it still needed a lot more body in my opinion. So after this, I just found this chorus sample. So I have a bunch of starters and a bunch of like simple samples, I guess we'll call them. And I just found this in one of them. Obviously slightly tweaked. It's just like this chorus thing. And then I just took it, I slightly chopped it because the first half was kind of like, it was building up and I didn't like that. Well, like when it would go back to this part, so I just chopped it up a little bit. And again, the effects on this one are also really heavy. Oh, never mind, I lied. No effects, it just sounded like that throughout the thing. But yeah, pitched it to key and it just adds a lot of body to the beat, and it accentuates this -5 thing because it's not going on anywhere but like this main body melody. So you don't notice it as much just when you're playing those instruments, but with this you can definitely hear it. And then afterwards, this is probably my favorite sound of the entire beat, if I'm being honest. It's this contact mallet called the Concert Marimba, and I put on that same effect chain that I put the body melodies on. And I just made this little like triplet roll thing, and this is what it sounds like. The high ones you can really hear. And it just plays throughout the beat, or throughout the melody, and it sounds really cool with everything. So now altogether, it's starting to sound a lot more coherent. But yeah, afterwards I just added what like kind of the cherry on top because I still felt like it sounded a little empty. So I found these Arctic Ensemble from Ethereal Earth and Contact, and I just play this like little run. Really simple. Then I pitch it up. And then one final time. And again, no effects, just an EQ, or actually some effects, just an EQ to bring down some of the highs. And I automated the volume on this because I felt like these last two parts were a little bit too loud, considering how high pitched they were, so you could hear them and they were a little bit too prominent. And afterwards, I just added another choir because I just wanted one more like body instrument. Because at the bass it sounded a little weak. So it's just this digi choir from Expand. This is one of my favorite choirs. I love this choir. And I put it on that same effect chain that the strings are on, and this is what it sounds like. And then just pitch down 3. But yeah, like it sounds a lot. It's way too like EDM-y without the effects, so that effect chain just ended up working perfectly, and this is what the final melody sounds like. With the drums, I really just wanted to accentuate hard-hitting and spacious. And I guess another thing to note was when I was making the drums, I still felt like the melody was a little empty. So I found another flute phrase from this Enzo kit, and I just added it in the beat, and this is what it sounds like. It's like this like flute run, and I pitch it down 5 over here, and it's pretty simple, but I like it. Basically what I do with this beat is the first thing I start off with always is the clap, and I just want to find like some hard-hitting snare clap kind of thing. That works really well, and this is from one of my drum kits. I'm not sure which one, but afterwards went to the hi-hats, and I think the hi-hats are really important for a beat like this, and really they're really spacey, but they have like these nice little rolls throughout, just constant third step to accentuate that like triplet vibe. But yeah, and really all I did with this is I just played with velocity. I added a few like spacious rolls. I think I pressed Alt R and changed the panning like this, and just kind of tweak with the panning. The hi-hats I put on an effect chain, and on the effect chain, really it's simple. It's just reverb, like gross beat that I turned almost all the way down, you can barely hear. Another gross beat that just reverses the end of each phrase. Fruity Panamatic that I turned off. Another gross beat that reverses the whole thing. It's pretty much all the way down. And that's it, because I turned the Panman off too. But yeah, it's just simple, and it really fits the vibe. Afterwards, you gotta get a good snare to kind of just work with everything. And it's just like basic snare mark. And then I found just another like a counter snare that has a little roll at the end, which I'll break down later. But the pattern is just, and I put some delay on it. It's hard, it's simple, and it's there. Moving on, I'll just show you all the chorus drum, because that's where everything is kind of located. Afterwards, I guess I just added an open hat on the 1 and the 3. Really simple. And then I added another open hat on some of these like 808 notes. But yeah, and I guess that leads us right into the 808, which is extremely important for beats like this. In my opinion, a lot of people really mess up when working on samples like this by overdoing the 808 and doing way too much. I kept it dummy simple, but kept it super hard. So this is what the 808 sounds like with the rest of the beat. But yeah, I mean, it's simple. It just hits, you know, and I pitch it up over here to play with the bass line, and I just added a little bit of variation with the notes here. But it's super simple. It's really hard, and really the only effects I add on the 808. The 808's pretty dry, which is this. So it's got some distortion on it, but I turned the mix down, and then it's just got a soft clipper. Not much, and it's just boosted. It's really boosted. So I have like 808s in my kit that are just kind of already boosted. So I have 808s and then hard versions that I already pre-boosted, so it just like fastens the workflow. But really, if you want to achieve that with like a normalized 808, like I'll go to the thing 808. Really, all you gotta do is you gotta just turn this boost to like 12 or so %. That's approximately the same as. And the other thing is I just kind of tweaked that to make it hit a little harder. But yeah, so simple, easy. It bangs, especially with all the other drums. I'll play with the rest of the drums real quick. Oh, sorry, I forgot one more sound. It's this rattlesnake perk from a Simon Savita drum kit. It really accents the downbeats. It sounds really cool. I'll show you the snare roll now. But yeah, the snare roll is really fire. It's really simple, and I don't know. Making snare rolls I'm really bad at, I'm not gonna lie, but I just kind of did some triplet thing, and I added these like quick little rolls, and it's simple, but. And the only effects on this snare are this is Baby Comeback, which I love. One of my favorite delays. It's just you can do so much, all the different like knobs and stuff. It's just a really cool delay. And really, the other main thing I wanted to do with this beat was I just wanted an 808 switch. So from verse to chorus, or from chorus to verse, in the verses I use this 808, which is a lot like nastier, and just this was also heavily a lot of effects on this. It would sound like clip effects. As you can see, I just turned the distortion way up and just EQ'd out some of the high because it's a little bit too much. And then I just boosted this frequency a lot because it just didn't sound bassy enough. Not a clipper. I also just threw in a kick. Pretty simple, but you know, you can barely hear the kick. It's sitting just underneath. But yeah, I just wanted like a super distorted part and this also pretty distorted part, but not as distorted. And as for arrangement, I can make a whole video about that, but I just went from, you know, the intro with the bass and no EQ on the melody. And this EQ is just a low cut, which means I just basically took out all the really low frequencies so that it wouldn't clash with the 808. Then it's just a verse without this like string part. And all of the choruses, the thing they have in similar is just all the choruses are the same and the verses are a little different. Like this verse is more instruments than this verse, and then this verse is a little different too. And I just, you know, play with stuff, and I can break that down in a separate video if y'all want. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. And if y'all like the final beat, hope y'all like, subscribe, and comment for more. And I'll let the final beat play on the outro, and peace out.